Morning. It's time for our daily lectionary reading for Saturday, October the 9th. Today we've got Psalm 22, 1 to 15. Been in that for a couple of days now. Job chapter 20, 1 to 29. Remember, we're going to be in Job for this is for the 9th, the 11 more days. I think it's the 20th. And Matthew 15, 1 to 9. All right. Let's just jump right in, shall we? Psalm 22 is a plea for deliverance from suffering and hostility. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me from the words of my groaning? Oh God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but find no rest. Yet you are holy, enthroned on the praises of Israel, and in you our ancestors trusted. They trusted, and you delivered them. To you they cried and were saved. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. But I am a worm and not human, scorned by others and despised by the people. All who see me mock at me. They make mouths at me, they shake their heads. Commit your cause to the Lord, let him deliver, let him rescue the one in whom he delights. Yet it was you who took me from the womb. You kept me safe on my mother's breast. On you I was cast from my birth. Since my mother bore me, you have been my God. Do not be far from me, for trouble is near and there is no one to help. Many bulls encircle me. Strong bulls of Bashan surround me. They open wide their mouths at me like a ravening and roaring lion. I am poured out like water. All my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted within my breast. My mouth is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to my jaws. You lay me in the dust. All right, Job 20. We've got Zophar the Naamathite answered. Pay attention. My thoughts urge me to answer because of the agitation within me. I hear censure that insults me, and a spirit beyond my understanding answers me. Do you not know this from old, ever since mortals were placed on the earth, that the exulting of the wicked is short, and the joy of the godless is but for a moment? Even though they mount up high as the heavens and their head reaches to the clouds, they will perish forever like their own dung. Those who have seen them will say, where are they? They will fly away like a dream and not be found. They will be chased away like a vision of the night. The eye that saw them will see them no more, nor will their place behold them any longer. Their children will seek the favor of the poor, and their hands will give back their wealth. Their bodies, once full of youth, will lie down in the dust with them. The wickedness is sweet in their mouths, though they hide it under their tongues, though they are loath to let it go and hold it in their mouths, yet their food is turned in their stomachs. It is the venom of asps within them. They swallow down riches and vomit them up again. God cast them out of their bellies. They will suck the poison of asps. The tongue of a viper will kill them. They will not look on the rivers, their streams flowing with honey and curds. They will give back the fruit of their toil and will not swallow it down. And the profit of their trading, they will get no enjoyment. For they have crushed and abandoned the poor. They have seized a house they did not build. They knew no quiet in their bellies. In their greed, they let nothing escape. There was nothing left after they had eaten. Therefore, their prosperity will not endure. In full sufficiency, they will be in distress. All the force of misery will come upon them. To fill their belly to the full, God will send his fierce anger into them and rain it upon them as their food. They will flee from an iron weapon. A bronze arrow will strike them through. It is drawn forth and comes out of their body, and the glittering point comes out of their gall. Terrors come upon them. Utter darkness is laid up for their treasures. A fire fanned by no one will devour them. What is left in their tent will be consumed. The heavens will reveal their iniquity, and earth will rise up against them. The possessions of their house will be carried away. and dragged off in the day of God's wrath. This is the portion of the wicked from God, the heritage decreed for them by God. Kind of dark, isn't it? Matthew 15, 1-9. The traditions of the elders. Yeah, and again, they cut it. And they cut it. Let me take it real quick. I want to see what we're doing. There's the Saturday. Matthew 15. See, we're not even going to stay in Matthew. All right. Matthew 15, 1-9. Then the Pharisees and scribes came to Jesus from Jerusalem and said, "Why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands before they eat." And he answered them, "Why do you break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? For God said, 'Honor your father and your mother.' And whoever speaks evil of father or mother must surely die. But you say that whoever tells father or mother, 'Whatever support you might have had from me is given to God,' then that person need not honor the father. So for the sake of your tradition, you make void the word of God. You hypocrites. Isaiah prophesied rightly about you when he said, 'This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching human precepts as doctrines.'" So the disciples, they're not talking about washing hands as to get your hands clean. What we think of. You wash your hands because there's germs and dirt and you want to get rid of it. That's not what they're talking about. The Jews at the time, well, even now, the observant Jews, there's a ritual involved in washing your hands before you eat. There was a sermon about this a while back. Can figure out which one it is. Maybe I'll put a link in the comments in case you want to know more about this. They had traditions. You had to pour like a certain amount of water over each hand. It was a whole thing. It was not simply getting some dirt off. So the scribes and Pharisees, sorry about that. I forgot to silence my phone. The scribes and Pharisees were wondering because the disciples weren't doing that; they were just eating. And Jesus kind of says, "Well, you're taking a commandment. You're there. This is a tradition of men. It's not written in the commandments. It's not God didn't tell us to do that. Whereas God told you to honor your father and mother, and there's a practice called korban that you could basically will your possessions, your money, your wealth, your property to God, to the temple, so that when you died, it all went to the temple. And then people were using that to deny support to the elderly parents by saying, "That's God's money, that's not mine. That's God's. I already gave that to God." So they twisted and they had broken one of the commandments to honor their father and mother by a tradition. Traditions are getting in the way of people. And if there's one theme that runs throughout all these run-ins Jesus had with the Pharisees and the scribes, is that they were letting it's follow the rules no matter what. The rules were all important, no matter who got hurt, you know. And whereas Jesus is saying, if someone is getting hurt, if that's getting in the way of people, the rules should not get in the way of people. People come first. God comes first. Taking care of people comes first. All right, that's enough. I'm getting preachy. I'll see you guys later.